Welcome to the Marvel of Horror. We discuss all things past, present, and future as they pertain to the horror genre. I'm your host, your friend, fellow horror enthusiast Bruce Marvel, and if you like this video, please find us at the Marvel of Horror podcast on YouTube. Like, subscribe, leave your comments below. Today, joining me from Crown Homes Real Estate,
Yep.
Amanda Bradford, and we're going to be discussing Amityville Horror, the 2005, which I actually watched last night to gear up for this episode, so I can't wait to really get into that. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm
awesome.
so excited to be here.
This is so cool. So you're like a big horror fan.
I love horror.
That's crazy. What was your first experience with the horror genre? Like, what movie really got you hooked?
I want to say, I think it was Amityville.
Yeah?
It was one of the first that I ever saw. I can't remember the very first one. I loved all of the hauntings in like Connecticut, the Conjuring, like all of like Insidious, like all of those.
I love that movie.
Yeah, obsessed with all of them. But I got into horror because I have had paranormal experiences since I was a kid. So I think that kind of like, and I was born on Mischief Night for Halloween. So I think all of it just like aids to the witchy, like spooky vibe.
Oh my God, where have you been? How am I just now really sitting down and talking to you? So you actually share a birthday with Eddie's sister, my wife, yeah.
No way!
We're both Mischief Night babies.
October 30th.
So yeah, wow. I mean, you care to talk about some of those experiences?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man, yeah. Let's get into this.
I know, right? And then we'll kind of aid into
God.
like the haunted house.
Hold on 1 second. We didn't put any of the
Microphones on? Wait, sorry, Eddie.
That's okay. We might have to do that whole thing again.
That's
but whatever.
fine.
Here we go. It might have gotten it since it was right here.
Wait, best way, literally just clip it on?
Yes.
Cool.
And don't cover it. I know. I'm always.
I know. That's why. That's why I put my hair back because I do the same way because I'll play with it and it will be bad.
I know. A buddy of mine came and did the show, and he talked like this the whole time with his hand covered, and it's like I didn't get any of it.
No, of course not.
Yeah. There's like a whole hour I had to cut, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't use it."
It's like I can't hear anything. Are they already recording?
Yes.
Cool.
So it might have gotten it. So we'll go back and check.
All right. Rewind.
But tell me about some of this. This is crazy.
So I lived in like a really old house, and I just from a little kid used to have like imaginary friends that like would make things happen and like shut doors, and you'd see like shadow figures, and like it was really weird. To this day, I'm like still PTSD of my childhood home from it.
Wow.
And we'll kind of get into it how like the little girl is in the attic.
Okay.
I had a bedroom in the attic.
Oh, wow.
And then instead of the closet being scary, it was the bathroom. So I lived all with experiences like that. To this day, like I can go into places and feel weird things.
Okay.
But like haven't seen a ghost in a really long time. But I think when I was younger, like up until the point where I was probably like 18, I was like seeing things, and then I kind of, you get closed-minded to it, and then life happens. So
wow, you gotta tell my wife.
Yeah,
because she like does like paranormal investigations and stuff like that.
Yeah, I still like love to go to I'm going to a medium in a few weeks from now. I went to one a few weeks ago. Like I love trying to connect to that as much as I can. No Ouija boards though.
Oh yeah, no.
Never.
All you at home or watching this on your phones, whatever. No Ouija boards. Come on, nothing but trouble.
Really bad.
That is so crazy. Yeah. Can you say what house it was, or you'd rather not?
I won't say where it is.
Okay.
Because my parents still live there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have they ever said anything to you?
No. So my dad doesn't really believe in it. My mom's had like some weird experiences. Like recently, like she heard like a giant thud upstairs, and that was where my room was, and she ran up, and one of our big photo albums was just like lying on the floor, and the shelf that it was in is like deep in there, so you literally would have had to like push it out. But yeah, she heard like a book, and then she went upstairs and it was just laying on the floor. I was like, if the book was open to a picture of me, that would have been terrifying.
Yes. Oh my God.
But it was just random. And then they kept trying to like, debunk it. And my dad was like, oh, like a mouse probably like ran by it. And we're like, no mouse is pushing that book off the shelf.
And isn't it that the men were just always the skeptics?
They don't believe.
They're always the skeptics.
They
and
don't
your dad,
believe.
I'm glad your dad's like just live into that stereotype. It's probably a mouse who dropped this, 10-pound book on the floor.
Yeah. But like even now it's so funny. I definitely think it's like partly the house, partly like it's over 200 years old. So I think it's just like
it's got to have some
history.
energy to it.
Yeah.
It's definitely got to have some energy.
But nothing evil. All just like I had one sleep paralysis experience.
Yeah.
There, and that was the most terrifying thing.
Wow.
And maybe like just weird dreams. Lots of weird dreams. Like when I was like 6, my mom took me to the doctor because she was like, "Hey, like she's dreaming a lot about death. Like, is that normal?" They're like, "No,
not for 6 years old."
No, yeah.
Wow.
Like cemeteries and dead people, and she's like, they're like, "Yeah, have you talked to her about death?" And she's like, "No." And they're like, "Yeah, you should know that already."
Yeah, wow,
So,
that's crazy. Well, I'm glad like it's it's kind of like behind you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And now I just love it. Like I love.
Yeah, you brace. That's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, my wife has some stories.
I'll have to talk about
she's
it.
got some. She got some audio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there was one. Well, it's her story, but I can't tell her. She's got this one where there's a place called the Auditorium.
Okay.
And it's on.
Wait, I know exactly where it
that's
is.
at, right?
Yes.
So that's got
right
some,
off of Marsh Road, right?
Yes, that's it. So it's got some activity there.
Does it?
And they've experienced some stuff. So my wife and the lady are talking, and they swear they didn't hear this when they were sitting there. So they're talking, whatever. When you go back and listen to the audio, I guess there was like a cat trying to jump up or do something. Like the cat was doing something. You clearly hear a voice that's not the two of them saying, and it sounds like it's saying, "Stop it. Stop that." And it's real creepy.
What?
And you hear it like clear as day. There's no way they wouldn't have heard it. Like it's stop that. Like it's that audible. And it's it's freaky.
See, that's what I haven't heard like a voice yet. Like my brother is always like, we should get like a voice box and bring it to our house, but I'm like, no, because as soon as I hear a voice at the house, I won't go back.
Yeah.
Like right now, they're like childhood experiences that like I can't watch a scary movie there anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't like house sitting. I have to be like with someone else in the house.
Yeah.
And even it was really funny. Right before we saw The Medium, I was at my house and I was like, "Hey, ghost, like if you want to come say hello, I'm seeing a medium." And I like kept looking around, and I said to my mom, I was like, if you weren't here, I would never have the balls to shout that out loud and say that.
So I had this cat that I named Dr. Gonzo.
Okay.
Right? Because I was real big into Hunter S. Thompson at the time. So the cat is like hissing at the couch, and I'm like, and I never heard the cat hiss before. It was like because it was one of those like big. It didn't have a mean bone, this cat, but it was hissing. I thought it was really weird. I was like, all right, well, it was one of those cats, One of those cats got up here. It's probably under the couch. He got it cornered. I kept hissing and hissing. Like I'm sitting there watching it, and it's just, I'm like, why lift it up and there's nothing there?
There's nothing under the couch.
Nothing there.
Yeah.
And the cat's just hissing at the couch. And I was like, all right, I'm leaving.
You're like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm like, and I just sat there and I was like it's sitting there, like staring.
Yeah.
And hissing. And I'm just like, and it wouldn't move, like it wouldn't budge, like it was almost like I'm not breaking my eye contact.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it freaked me out.
Animals always know.
Yeah.
My dog, we had a hallway and it would sit, it only did a few times. It sat in the middle of the hallway once and just stared at the top of the staircase. Didn't bark, just kind of like stared at it. And it was dark. And I remember walking by the hallway and I kind of glanced up and I saw just a shadow at the top of the staircase. And I just kept walking. I'm like, all right.
Oh man, you and my wife would have some great
I can talk about forever. I love it.
All right, so Amityville, 2005. You saw this in the theater, I take it?
No.
No? Okay.
I'm pretty sure I probably saw it. It was a VHS, like tape for sure.
Man.
I don't even know the very first time I saw it, and I didn't know Ryan Reynolds at the time. Like I didn't know like who he was. He was still up and coming.
Okay.
I guess. But it was one of the first scariest movies I saw. But I also rewatched it this week.
Okay.
Because I was like, I had to remind myself of it. And I was like, man, this isn't as scary as like I thought it was. I watched it with my husband, and because he's not a big horror person.
Okay.
So I was like, you have to watch this with me, like just in case, because there are certain movies that I cannot watch without someone else. This
Okay.
one, I probably would have been okay.
Okay.
But
what are some of those movies, if you don't mind sharing?
Sinister
Oh.
terrifies me.
Yeah.
Again, The Haunting in Connecticut is a really scary one for me. Anything that's like realistic horror scares me more than unrealistic.
Well, you're just like me. It sounds like haunted houses, like
Like that's
ghost
more
stories
real.
are
Yeah.
your,
Yeah.
I'm a big, like, don't get me wrong, I'm a child of the 80s, so I love like slasher films too. But like ghost stories are my,
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, all right, here we go.
Yes.
So that's me and you are very the same in that regard. But I mean, Sinister's like, a lot of people say Sinister's like one of the scariest movies ever made.
100 times. Yeah.
So like it's
Yes.
some people either love it or they hate it, but yeah, most people are like, yeah, Sinister is like,
Yes.
oh man.
Well, and I love anything Ed and Lorraine Warren. I've read their book. I love like all of their stories. But again, it's like it's real. It's real in
Yeah.
some sense. So, like honestly, The Nun was pretty scary.
The Nun wasn't bad. The second one was actually pretty
The second
good too.
one was good. Yeah, any of those faces to this day, the Insidious guy, who like was in the corner in the ceiling, still kind of haunts me. And that song.
Yeah. Oh man. So Insidious. Like now I've seen it so many times, but I mean I still love it. Like
Yeah.
Insidious is like in my top 5 of like horror movies. Like
Yeah.
I never forget when I saw it in the theater, and I probably told the story a million times on the show. But I'll like when I first saw it, that movie just fucking terrified me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was so good.
Yep.
And I really like that. Like the 3, 4 are kind of
Yeah. The first few were
the
really
first
good.
few were good. The last
Yeah.
one they did I really liked. But
Oh, I
then
didn't
it's-
see the most recent one, The Red Door.
So the Red Door, if you just watch 1 and 2 and then watch that movie,
It would be
it's
fine.
like a perfect.
Okay.
It's a perfect trilogy, and it's really a son and dad movie too.
Got it.
A lot of so that when I saw it, I was like,
Yeah.
so good.
I started to watch it on a plane, and then I
Yeah.
was like, why am I watching this on a plane? Because I didn't want to scare people around me by jumping, so I stopped watching it. I was like, this isn't a good movie right now.
Definitely go back and watch. And like I said, definitely go back, give it a shot, and watch it. And again, it's like it's not as good as the first 2.
Okay.
But it's such a good companion piece to those 2 movies.
those.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
it's like a perfect trilogy, at least to me anyway. The funny thing about this movie, when I saw it almost 20 years ago, oh my God. Ryan Reynolds was like, he did this movie, he did that Van Wilder movie.
Yes,
Right?
yeah.
So that's kind of what everybody like
Knew
knew
him
him
from?
as. So he was like, he would get such shit as an actor. Now it's like, and I was watching this like, all right, man, is it going to be even worse? Because now I only know him as Deadpool.
Yeah.
He's really good in this
He
movie.
is. Absolutely.
He's fantastic. And I'm like, man, wow, he just was given such a hard time.
I know.
Ryan
I always
Reynolds,
see him in like comedy, but the horror, he did pretty good.
He did really good. So
Yeah.
like doing my research on this movie, like apparently he was scaring some of the crew because he was trying so hard to like not be funny, to like just
Yeah.
be like a total 180 of his like what he was already kind of typecast for.
Mhm.
He was like kind of creeping the crew out. And that I guess when he slaps Billy and the wood chopping scene.
Yes.
That wasn't in the script. He like did that. Like he smacked him and like just to kind of stay into character. Like, he wasn't supposed to do that. It was like, and people were like, oh shit. And he,
Yeah.
the kid actor is like a total pro and took it like a total pro. But it was like, yeah, that was totally unscripted.
Wasn't part of
And
it.
he just did that to be, because he was like totally lost in the character to do that. And I was like, wow, that's pretty wild, man.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, total psycho in this movie.
He is, but it's so interesting because the whole time I was just like, kept yelling at the screen. I was like, why do y'all keep going back to this house? Like, you can see the red flags where they're like, something's off, and they just keep going back. He keeps saying, man, I feel so much better now that I'm not in the house, and you guys keep going back.
Yeah, well, like I said, me and everybody. That's always the. I guess that's the fun of being like a horror
I
fan.
know. Because
You know
you're
what I
just
mean?
like, you see it. You're like, come on.
You see it, and it's like, but then it's like you think about it later, and it's like, okay, yeah, because it would be a 5-minute movie,
Right.
if we
For
were in it.
everything. Yeah, exactly.
My daughter's got this bear that was actually buried with the person who used to live here. Yeah,
Right.
okay, I'm going.
Yeah. Well, the second
And
and it's so funny at being in real estate and watching the scene with the realtor at the house.
yeah,
And like watching her walk through, and she's like, it's got a vibrant history, and I'm like, away with words, this
There you
woman
go.
has, yeah.
a vibrant.
Yeah, and then even like when she told them, they still wanted to buy it. Like, there's no way I would ever buy a home where someone was murdered.
No.
And there is one house in Delaware that was in Ellesmere, and it was a mass murder.
Really? What, like recently?
No, it
Okay.
happened 2014, so 10 years ago.
Wow.
I think.
Okay. Well, that's.
But it was a dad who killed his entire family
Oh my.
and his
God.
wife and then himself. And it was in this house, and someone I know had bought the home and was going to flip it and then resell it. And I walked through the house when it was flipped, but he had shown me pictures, and I was like, are those stains on the hardwood floor? And he was like, we think so. I was like, cool. And they went under contract like 3 different times because people then found out what had happened.
And then didn't want to be there.
Yeah, but it's sold. Someone lives in there now. I pass it all the time.
Oh my God! And Ellesmere, man, I never even heard of this story. Now I have to. I'm gonna go back and kind of research. But that's. Yeah, I don't think I could. And I'm actually like when I was watching the movie, I was like, I wish they would have told us the number
That they bought it for?
that they bought it for.
I looked it up.
You did? Okay.
Someone said on Reddit that it was for like 80,000.
And this was like, so this was what, like, it's supposed to be, the year is supposed to be what, 1974?
Yes.
Something like that. So I'm guessing 80,000, for that property.
Big of a house.
That size of a house, yeah, for 80s, like, wow, that would, even back then still would have been really good,
But he says, like, what's the catch? And I always tell people, whenever people are like, this house is so beautiful, but it's so cheap, like, what's the catch? And I'm like, there's always something wrong with the house if it's underpriced.
Yeah,
like,
always.
There always is. You'll find it somewhere. It's either once you go into the home and you see it, or it's the area, or like there's a story. But in Delaware, legally, you don't have to disclose that.
Really? Wow.
It's called an astigmatized property. So this is an astigmatized property where like any murder, death, paranormal activity, you don't have to legally disclose that. And the only way you have to tell the person is if they write a letter to the seller asking them, did someone die here or was someone murdered? So I'm sure there were many homes that people have bought
They never
knew anything.
Wow. Hey, there's a tip. You Delawareans. That's crazy. Like I always thought they had to disclose that information.
No, never.
And it's like, well, I guess there's probably a lot of people out there who, like, I'm not one of them, but there's probably a lot of people out there. It's like, I don't want to know.
Yeah, just
I don't even want to know.
I don't want to know.
Like his attitude in the movie, like, people kill people, not houses. But
this house did.
Yeah, like I don't know a lot about like the actual true story that it's based on. Like I hear things like it was all a hoax.
I heard that too. That the Lutzes like made it up to get out of the house, and that they were into the occult, and like that's kind of what created some of the paranormal issues. But people who have lived there since then have had no issues.
Yeah.
I've seen photos of the inside of the house now, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous home. They've completely like renovated the first 2 windows, so they don't look the same.
Ah, man.
Yes, and they changed the address, so it was originally 112 Ocean, and now it's like 108 Ocean Avenue.
Just to get away from the whole, wow. Mm-hmm. See, I always wanted to redo this. I always wanted to redo a house I was living in to look like the Amityville.
Yeah.
Because I'm that much of a horror nerd. It's like, that would be cool.
And it's crazy because the house looks just like the house. Like it is. It's right on a lake. Mm. It's got the boathouse. Someone said, though, in the research I looked at, that the one owners didn't think there was anything wrong with the house, but they didn't like the boathouse.
Okay.
And then somebody was like, oh, there were rumors that like George Lutz used to do occult stuff in the boathouse. So
Well, it's funny. Like again, researching this movie before, like while watching it, I think the first week of filming, they found a body in the boathouse.
what?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I read it. Look it up. So they were filming, and they don't think the body was like killed in the boathouse. They think the body was like from somewhere
floated?
else, and it floated in. And then
Well, that's a very weird coincidence.
and when they were filming, yeah, when they were filming, like they found it, like they were setting up in the boathouse to
Oh
film,
my God.
and there's this body, and they're like, oh.
Well, I'd love
Really,
to know where they
way to set the
found
vibe.
like this house, the house that they filmed at, because it's so similar to the other one.
Yeah, well, I think I don't know exactly because I think some of it was a set, but
Okay.
but they actually did get a house and they retrofitted it to look like the
old
Amityville
one.
house. Like it was like a lot of it looked the same, but like to do the windows and stuff, they just
Yeah.
kind of did like a retrofit. But I think it did have the boathouse
Okay.
already. So, but yeah, body, like Ryan Reynolds made like a mafia joke, kind of. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, there's a big ocean. This mafia guy probably got
Yeah.
whacked and flew
And he just floated down the river.
down there. But yeah, I don't
oh my
know.
gosh.
Like your first week of filming, he's like, oh, gee, I believe the wife of the Lutz, I forget her first name, but Kathy maybe.
Kathy Lutz, yeah.
She died the first week of filming. When they were filming this movie, she died that first week, so she never got to see the finished movie.
This actress?
She didn't die at the address, but she passed away while they were filming the 2005.
So they were a part of it. The real Lutzes were a part of it.
Maybe they were getting used to to talk, maybe asking
Okay.
questions and stuff like that. But yeah, I was watching a Melissa George, who's the wife in this movie, talked about in an interview.
Interesting.
Yeah, there was all kinds of weird stuff that happened. They said the one night when they were filming, the lights went on and off, and they had to call security because they thought maybe someone broke into the set and was playing a prank, but they didn't find anything and stuff and Ryan Reynolds being kind of too dark for the crew.
Yeah. I have such a hard time believing that there's not some sort of negative energy after such a brutal murder like that.
Oh, there's gotta be, yeah. There's gotta be. I definitely, I don't know if I believe in poltergeists kind of stuff, but I do believe energy never goes away.
Yeah,
and
no.
it can stay. And they always say too, when you're doing renovations and stuff like that,
That it drums
really
it up.
shakes things up, gets the energy moving again.
Yep.
So I definitely believe in that kind of stuff. And like I said, my wife, I've heard things.
Yep.
You know.
I couldn't even when the babysitter is like, oh, they were shot right here in these beds. It's really sick that you're living them. I was like, yeah, wait, why did they get new furniture? Why are they using the beds where the boys were shot in?
I don't know.
That's
actually
terrible.
Great. Yeah, that's a great. I wouldn't want to use someone's bed even if they weren't.
If they weren't shot in, I don't want the bed frame. I'm good.
No, I'm like,
No.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'll get new stuff. Just get this.
Yeah, I'm like, what? And then
Well, they were talking about how they were they were just totally taxed with money when they moved in. So maybe that's got to do with it. But
and they just
it's not for me.
No, even in a room, if I knew somebody, it depends on how they died. If it was like a natural death, someone died in a bed in a room, I wouldn't be weirded out. But I went into a showing once. I've only ever had 2 weird experiences, and I went into a showing once in Newcastle, and I walked into the room, and the ceiling drywall was cut, and there was a noose hanging from.
Oh God.
hanging from the rafter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, oh, okay. Didn't know if it was a message or did they not take this down? And then we went out to the neighbor and we're like, can you tell us what happened here? She was like, if you buy the house, I'll tell you. And I was
Oh, if I buy the house. Yeah,
okay. I was like, sure. And then the other one was I was doing a virtual tour and my husband was in the car outside. And I'm usually good. Again, being in homes by myself, although now, knock on wood, things are weird and people are hiding in closets to attack realtors. So who knows? But yeah.
That's happened?
I've seen videos, not in Delaware, but
Okay.
it's
Oh my
happening.
God, this
yeah.
is crazy.
So safety, just like with normal alive people, is already a concern. But I walked into a house and I was doing a virtual tour, and I didn't have a chance to like walk through the home before I like did the tour, which is what I usually do. And I walked in, and I still have the video. I'll have to find it before I leave.
Okay, yeah.
It was like I walked in and I was like, oh, here we walk in. And I was like, and the first door is, and I expected to say a coat closet because that's usually the first door when you walk in. But it was steps to the basement, which was so unusual. But I opened the door and I was like, and this is, and the light was already on downstairs. And I all of a sudden heard a boom, 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 boom. And I literally slammed the door shut, ran out the house. And in the video, I'm like, nope. And I just like ran out, told my husband, I was like, hey, I have to finish this virtual tour, but I won't go back inside without somebody. Okay. I was like, it's either a squatter or it's a ghost. And I was just like, I don't know which one is worse.
I was going to say, which one is worse? Probably the squatter.
Right. I was like, I don't know which one is worse. But then when I walked back in, the door to the basement was creaked open, ajar.
Oh, wow.
And in the video, like I showed people, I was like, guys, I slammed that door shut. Yeah. They're like, well, what if it bounced? I'm like, there's no way. I was like, I didn't slam it like so hard. I slammed it enough that like it would have just shut, but it was ajar when I went back in, and I said that to him. I was like, that door wasn't open when I left. I was like, so again, are they now somewhere else in the house?
Yeah.
Or
that's.
But I didn't see anybody, but I didn't go down in the basement for the virtual tour. I don't think personally that I could I couldn't lie about that. Like I couldn't lie and be like, yeah, this house is like great. I'd be like, no, someone died here. Yeah. Just letting you know.
Yeah, you're right. I couldn't sleep well at night if I was like, yeah, this house is great.
I couldn't. Even in Sinister, was it Sinister too? Like they died in the house. Or was it just the videos?
No. So in Sinister, they died in that house.
Right.
And the writer knew it. He just didn't tell his family. And then they found out. And
That's right. That's right.
That would be even worse.
Oh my God. Yeah. If like my significant other knew it and didn't tell me, and I was like, things are weird in this house. Like, I'd be like,
And because in the beginning of the movie, the sheriff is like, and I find this in really poor taste, like pointing at the house, like you fucking moved into this house where these people, like, and the tree's still there, and it's like, oh, like you didn't even cut the tree down.
Yeah. No, it's just like, yeah, I can't.
Yeah, and I believe there's some like there's some people who would do that stuff.
Well, and I think some people, like to move into homes like that, so maybe that's a part of it too. I think like there's so many, like now the Conjuring house is like. I think someone bought it and they've turned it into like an Airbnb where you can actually like rent nights there.
They did. I believe they did it with that, and I also believe they did it with the Silence of the Lamb house
too.
Yeah, with Buffalo Bill, because I was at like a horror show, like a horror convention, like a couple months ago, and the guys were there like selling it.
Interesting.
Yeah, they had like a table and they were handing out the things. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but. I don't know.
I saw a TikTok of a guy who had like a...
Is that well still there?
Right.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm
I can't.
Man.
There was a guy who had a house, and it was literally like, he said that they had created moments within the house to make it seem haunted.
Yeah.
And like so many people were like, or it's really haunted and you're just saying that you're doing it on purpose to like make things happen. Like he was like, you know, lights will flicker and cabinets will open and it's all automatic, but you don't know when it's going to happen. And I was like, this could just be a ploy. I don't know.
Count me out. It's like, I'll go to Frightland or something.
Yeah.
If I really want that. And now that I'm older, I don't like that stuff either.
No.
Everyone's like, oh, we should go to Jason's Woods. I'm like, no, we shouldn't.
No.
It might be a real guy.
Yeah. No, that's always with all of these new horror movies that come out where they're killing people in horror-like situations.
That's a big trend, like the last couple of years. And that would be really scary. And I want to say, and I could be wrong, fact check me. When I was a kid, they had a thing. It wasn't Jason's Woods. Like the big haunted attraction around here, or like in Pennsylvania, was a place called Satan's Landing.
Okay.
Right. And I want to say, again, I could be wrong. They closed it because there was a real body that they found there, like, and people thought it was like just part of
Just
the
part
act,
of it.
but it was like, nah, someone really got killed there, and there was like a real dead body there. And I actually, okay, the Skeletor from He-Man.
Mm-hmm.
The way the reason the guy came up with Skeletor, the character, was because when he was a kid and he was going through a haunted attraction, someone had really hung themselves in in like the actual like haunted
Oh my god.
walkthrough, and he was like decayed and stuff, and they just thought it was a prop, and they realized it's a real person. And he saw that as a kid, and it stuck with him, and that's where he got the concept
Skeletor.
to create Skeletor. Yeah, so a little, totally, yeah. We changed category, we changed subjects a lot, but we always find a way to get back to what we're talking about. But yeah, a fun story. But it's your host, your friend, your fellow horror enthusiast, Bruce Marvel, and for me and the entire team here at the Marvel of Horror, we just want to wish you and your family a very safe and happy holidays. We'll be back at you in 2025 with fresh new episodes and content. In the meantime, here's to you, my friends. Happy holidays. Stay scary. So, did you ever see the original?
No, the original movie? No.
Yeah? Okay.
Mm-mm.
So, because I was
There's so many
remakes.
remakes.
So many.
Because even when we were trying to find this one, I was like, oh my god, wait, which one is it? There's so many, and then there's documentaries about it, and like, so there's a lot with it.
There's a lot, yeah. If you go to, I almost want to say it's Tubi, but yeah, if you go on like Amazon, it's like Amityville: The Awakening, My Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's like The Amityville Exorcist, and
yep, there's so many.
I think they make like 2 every year.
Yep. And they
straight
just
straight to video, straight to VOD. But yeah, it's crazy how many they really got. But
have you seen the original?
I have. Yeah.
Okay.
I have. And the original is pretty good for its time, but like it's a lot of its effects don't like add up.
Yeah.
Or don't hold up over time. I mean, it's definitely worth a watch, even if you want to just compare it to this one.
Yeah.
But I think when the original one came out, I think a lot of people still thought it was like real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it just scared them that much more. I think with this one, you can actually just look at it as like a scary movie and just have fun, you know, because they added a lot of stuff to this movie, like the
flies.
Like the flies. Well, I want to say the flies might be in the old one. I'm trying to remember, but the whole thing with the guy actually like killing like the Native Americans in the basement and stuff. That's all to this movie.
The Ketchum, yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't in the original one. The original one's actually, and Stephen King like points this out. The original one, there's a part in the movie where they're already sticking to like the story where they're kind of housebroke for buying this house, and he's a contractor and whatnot, and it's James Brolin, so Josh Brolin's dad, Thanos' dad, is the killer, or is the guy getting possessed in the movie.
Okay.
And he looks scary. That is one thing I'll say. Like he seems way more intimidating and losing his mind than Ryan Reynolds does. But there's a part in the movie where I guess like he's missing all this time from work, so he's not paying his workers, and they're getting like pissed off, which is like very real. That's like, you know, it seems like comes off like very realistic. And I guess he had like all this money, and I think he was like paying. He was helping out with somebody's like wedding or something like that. It was a lot of money. Well, it disappears, and it's more of like the descent into madness. And Stephen King pointed out in a documentary, it's like that is what's really scary. How like money plays a real factor into things like spiraling out of control in the original movie. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It is true, because it's, you know, they can haunt you and keep you awake at night, but man, when demons are taking your money,
right,
and you're poor,
then that sucks. Yeah.
That's definitely
You're
gonna
like,
set
wow.
you. That's definitely gonna do some damage to your family. You're not gonna be your family's not gonna be one around you. You're gonna be really pissed off.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love in this movie too the use of like the lightning, and like the lighting is really scary. Like they add to the environment in a really great way with it, where like lightning in any house. I'm like, and the lights like going on and off. Anytime I can't see something, then all of a sudden it shows up. Like Lights Out, one of a very scary movie.
Great movie. That is a great movie.
Because I am a person who will walk up the basement steps and like can't have the lights off.
Yeah, no,
Or,
I'm the same way. My wife laughs at me because like when she leaves, like maybe she'll go somewhere. It's like okay, like she goes to her dad's.
Mm-hmm.
She comes home. I'm usually asleep by then, but all the lights in the house are on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, I don't.
Can't do that.
No,
Mm-mm.
I've never.
No.
I hate being in the dark alone. I hate mirrors. Mirrors freak me out.
Really?
Yeah, mirrors. I don't like them.
Interesting.
Like I have to use them,
Right.
but
you don't like them.
no. Like if I'm in a room and there's a mirror and someone shuts the light off, I won't look at it.
Really?
Yes, I won't. Fun fact about your friend Bruce. Right?
Isn't it just though that mirrors, like, if they're facing each other is really bad?
I don't know. That could be. It could be true. That's something I never really thought about. But I don't know. I think when I was a kid, like Bloody Mary was like a big popular story.
Same.
So I think I either read it or
Oh, I did it, but
you did it. Oh man,
100%. We did,
Ooh.
but I wouldn't like say like we really fully completed it. Like I think it gets too scared before like
Yeah.
like we have to turn the light on because we were just too scared.
That's what me. I never even tried it, and I won't.
You're like, I won't do it. Not standing in front of a mirror.
Yeah, I'm a 47-year-old man. I will not try it. I won't try it with the lights on. I'm like, man, if someone was next to me saying that, I'd probably hit them. Like, shut up.
Yeah. Well, that's why even every time I see a movie and the little kid like going to the bathroom and like consistently like looking over his shoulder, I'm like, you have a mirror in front of you. You don't even know what's staring right back at you at the mirror. You're looking that way.
Well, to me, that's this, and that thing is there next to him. That's like the scariest part in the whole movie.
It was. I jumped. I did, and I couldn't remember. It reminded me of Insidious when the red demon is right behind his face.
Well,
I always jump.
Like the colors, like you talk about the lightning and stuff like that. Like the color scheme
It's similar.
is it's very similar. Mm-hmm. Now, I just didn't put that together till now.
Yeah, like the red and everything.
Mm-hmm. Like that, just that shade of blue, green,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, it's like I said, this is actually a really. I was pretty impressed, like because again, I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I was like, wow, this is actually really good movie. It's got some good jump scares in it, and I think is this the first movie we see? Man, what's her name? I'm gonna butcher it.
Chloe Grace Moritz.
Yes. Is this her? Was this her first?
It's one
movie?
of the first ones, I think. Yeah, she was young. Even my husband was like, "That's the girl from Kick-Ass." I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah."
She's got like a good horror movie like resume because she was in
She's in Carrie.
Carrie, Let Me In. You ever see Let Me In? Mm-mm. Let Me In's good.
Yeah, she's in Carrie. Yeah, but I've never seen any of the other actors.
Okay.
I don't think. And anything else.
What do you think your favorite haunted house movie is?
Oh.
I know. Sorry to put you like.
Favorite haunted house movie.
If you had to pick one.
Really, anything with Ed and Lorraine Warren are always really good.
I love that first Conjuring movie.
The Haunting in Connecticut was one of the scariest ones, I think. That also had to do with Indians, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. That was a scary one. The Conjuring 2, again, it's just the weird, like, not the possessions. The possession doesn't scare me as much.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing hide and go seek and you see hands come out of a closet and they clap and like, it's not anyone you know type weird things, like.
Things being moved. That always, yeah, because that's something that's very, like, that's something me and you have discussed has happened to us.
Yes, things being moved. Yeah, Sinister, though, still is probably one of the scariest haunted house type films that I can immediately think of. But there have been a lot of great, like The Haunting of Hill House. Not a movie, but series.
Oh, yeah.
It's also really, really good.
Super good.
So.
Mike Flanagan. Whew.
Yeah,
Guy knows how to make a movie.
Those are just really good. I've really liked a lot of, like, actually Netflix's recent, like, little haunted films have been pretty decent. Anything psychological, too. Like, where it's, like, you're in a house, you're experiencing something, but nobody else is, and they don't believe you, and it's like, that makes...
Usually the guys.
Yeah, they're like, it's not happening. And you're like, it is. It is happening. Yes. 100%. So, but this is up there for me. And not scary wise. I just love the story, I think, behind it. And it was probably one of the first ones that I had ever watched that I was pretty scared of. Like now, like I used to be terrified of Jodie, the little girl in the closet. But now, like, watching it back, I was like, she's not really that scary.
Nah.
Like she's just sad.
I think, like I said, the guy showing up next to the whole part with the boy like being scared going to the bathroom at night and stuff, because that was me as a kid, and
always.
I grew up in the house. Yeah,
same.
That's very real, I think, for kids.
Like I didn't use my bathroom in my house because I was so scared. Like it's so funny. I was there since I was 3, and we didn't update the bathroom until COVID, and I was still living at home. And my parents were like, "Oh, you'll love the new bathroom. Like it's like all light, and it's crazy because the bathroom that I lived in when I was young was painted the Little Mermaid theme. So it was not a scary bathroom in any sense. Like it was like under the sea themed. But it was a black, I don't know what the material is, a black shower. And I never wanted to use it, or I didn't even brush my teeth or go to the bathroom in the bathroom. I always went downstairs. And then even during COVID, we transformed it into this very like neutral colored, very beautiful, updated. We even tiled the black shower so I'd feel more comfortable. And I still, I used it to like go to the bathroom and brush my teeth, but I would never shut the door.
Yeah.
I never shut the door. It was always open. And I never showered in it. I still haven't showered in it to this day.
My mom used to tell me when she was, I forget how old she was, but when she saw Psycho for the first time, she stopped shutting she wouldn't close the curtain.
Oh yeah,
anymore. Like that's how bad that movie scared people back then. She was like, I was always getting like my father especially be like yelling and screaming at me because everything was all wet. It's like I wouldn't close the curtain. Take a shower.
Like, no, I gotta see. It was like for who's gonna come through.
It was like for months.
Yeah.
And even I think that even like growing up, she never liked it. You know what I mean? It was like
it's just that thing that stays with you. So yeah, the little kid's anxiety. I was like, I felt that.
Yeah,
I fully have felt that.
That's super real. That's super real.
100%. Or something like the words on the, like something happening and then it like scrambling itself where you're like, I know I saw that, but now it's like gone, and you're like, that doesn't really make any sense. Or the dreams, like.
Yeah, I thought the dreams are like really. I thought the dreams are like a really cool part in the movie. Like the only thing in the movie I didn't like care for. Like I didn't like the end. I didn't like the end where like the hands come up and grab Jodie. That was the only thing that kind of like, you didn't really need it, but I get it. You're trying to get that final jump scare in at the end.
But it's not, again, it's not fully scary. It's just like, the scariest was the Indian in the bathroom. I mean, and also like the little girl, like when they're like in having sex and then all of a sudden she's standing there and you're like, what the heck? Yeah. Yep. But like when she pulls the babysitter's finger into her bullet hole, I'm like, why? That's just weird.
I know. Weird. It was like I wonder who's like, I don't know. Like I'm like, I didn't write the script.
I know.
You know what I mean? I didn't write the screenplay.
But being locked into a closet and the lights turning off, that would scare me.
That was scary. And that did happen to me when I was a kid. So I kind of know what that's like. I got locked in a garage one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother locked me in my basement once, and I like did that. Yeah, shut it, had the lights off because the light was on the outside of a door, so I couldn't turn it on and off in the basement. So I remember he did that once, and I full on had like a panic attack, like the babysitter. I was like,
I'm trying to remember if I had I don't think I had a panic attack. I think I was just like really upset. But I was like, my older brothers and my older cousin were at his house, and it was like I probably your little brother's there.
Yeah.
He's 7. You guys are like 12 or whatever. It's like, all right, we're trying to maybe watch like a movie that's rated R. Right. You're going to tell on us, so we locked you in the garage. You did probably, you deserve it.
But were the lights on?
I could see.
Okay. I was just saying,
Put it
if I
that way.
can't see
I could see,
somewhere,
yeah.
that would be the issue.
It wasn't completely dark. I could see where I was.
Yeah.
I don't think I was like really freaked out. I think I was probably just like a kid. Like,
yeah. Because even in darkness, you can see things.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I wouldn't like being locked anywhere in the dark.
I mean, I definitely didn't like it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the babysitter had it coming. She
was kind of a jerk.
She was a jerk. She fully told them the whole story, and you know,
she was kind of a jerk, and I was laughing too. Like, I was laughing because she's like hitting the bong, and just like, I'm like, man, dude, the whole house can smell that. Are you kidding? Like, they're totally gonna tell on you.
Yeah.
I mean, the boy got a crush on you. He might not, but come on, man. Like,
the other kids.
Like, no one's gonna smell that. It was. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, and the little girl, too, who like, and kids do this. And if my child does this, I don't know what I'll do. I've seen too many TikToks about it, where like, they're like staring at something and they're like, oh no, there's like a person in there. Like when she's talking to the mom, she's like, oh, I'm talking to my friend Jody. And then she turns to the chair and she like shushes it and the mom just turns to the chair. I'm like, you know someone's sitting in that chair.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like going back to here when like Victor was young. So Victor, you know, he's got his changing table. Like if you go into his room, he's got like his dresser and the changing things on top. So if you're like right here, the door is right here.
Right.
So that I'm like
behind you.
Yeah, and I'm like, so I would always shut it. No, it's. I'm just expecting something to like cross the hallway out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
But there were so many times where it's like I just feel like he's looking behind me, and I'm like,
right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he can't talk.
But as soon as he starts talking, that's where it gets scary. Of like. Yeah, like there's where they're like, yeah, there's a man standing there, and you're like, there's not. They're like, he's right there. He's literally looking at me, and you're like, oh my god.
I have a friend, never met their grandfather, like in person. Like he passed away before they were born, but would describe him coming to them and talking to them, and he was like, and I guess like, and when the mom like asked him, because the mom believed him, because I guess like there was something like there was one of those instances where he knew something he wouldn't have known unless that person told him.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, how come your brother doesn't see him? And he's like, well, because he's too young. You don't want to scare him. So he comes to me and talks to me instead. And it was like, whoa. Like I said, you know what I mean? But it was like, and they were like, I forget how old they were, but they were like real little. And yeah, they always say like kids are more
susceptible to it for sure. Yeah.
Which I always thought was crazy.
Yeah, because even it's weird. Like the little girl was the only one who sees them, but the other two boys like don't.
Yeah, that's actually pretty clever. I think now looking back on it, because you always think like they always say like the little kids are more susceptible to pick it up. I don't know. Kind of makes me think like kids are more. I don't want to say magic. That's probably the wrong word, but like kids are just more like. I don't know, magic. I'll say magic. Magic can still like exist for them, and we lose it as we get older, kind of thing.
We rationalize things too, whereas like a kid wouldn't like. They don't know what to rationalize or not. They're just like, oh yeah, this is real. This is happening.
Yeah, that open-mindedness.
And you don't know like. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. Like even when I had sleep paralysis, I didn't know it was sleep paralysis until I was 21. I had it when I was 6. Like I didn't know what it was called. I just thought I experienced a ghost.
Yeah.
And I thought my brother had like come upstairs with like a Jason mask and like tried scaring me, but he was like, no. But he was younger than me by like 3 years. So I was like, there's no way that he did that. And then I watched a documentary about sleep paralysis, and it was like, oh, you know, they see this demon with red eyes and yellow teeth. And I was like, that was literally what I saw. I was like, what?
Was that the nightmare? Was that what that was called? Or
yes, it was called the Nightmare.
Okay.
Yes. And then
I always wanted to watch that.
When I watched it, it was like sleep paralysis happens when you think about sleep paralysis. I was like, oh darn. I had to have my friend sleep in my room. I was like, it's never happened to me since then.
Oh my god, I hope it don't happen.
I know, knock on wood.
We're talking about it.
I don't think it will, because I just still like listen to stories about sleep paralysis and it hasn't happened. I truly think it was just like being a kid and like in that house, but But my husband says that he gets it. But I've never had an experience where, like, I have felt him, like, I've never been woken up if he has had it.
Okay.
Or anything. And he said he's never seen anything. He just feels a presence in the room. So, I don't know. I saw something and I was like, I never want that to happen again.
Well, I have a friend of mine, and she has sleep paralysis. And one day she came over, like Halloween, we used to really go like all in, like really, like 1 year. If I got pictures, I'll edit it into the final cut. But 1 year before we redid like the paint job in the living room, I bought like the giant spider from like Home Depot, and I did the whole room in like spider webs, and I made it look like the final scene in like the old It movie.
Okay.
And you know, like I always try and find like a theme. So 1 year I did like witches. 1 year I did like the nun, and we did we took sheets and we glued Bible pages to the sheet.
Okay.
We made the whole room look like it was made out of like Bible page walls.
That's cool.
And they would like move since they were sheets, so it gave like this really like disoriented kind of feeling.
Yeah, please tell me you didn't have like a nun. Like,
we did.
Oh my God, nope.
We had the nun, like I had the nun holding like an Annabelle doll.
Oh my God.
Like a baby, and I had like another nun. Like I said, I'll put the video in, and I'll show you after if you want to see it. But what we did was we took like clock motors, and we cut out holes in like the sheet wall, whatever, and put them in so you wouldn't see them like plugged in. And then we put like crosses, so it looked like crosses were spinning.
What?
And stuff. It was real cool.
That's awesome.
It was really cool. But my friend was like, "Yeah, how do you live?
How do you sleep?
How do you live in this house like a whole month? Because like we would set up like a whole month in advance." And I said, "Well, it's kind of creepy because you coming down, it's dark, and you just literally see the shadow outlines."
Yeah.
Of all this stuff. She's like, "Yeah, I couldn't live here. I have sleep paralysis. This would totally like destroy my mind."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it's creepy, but."
I would be afraid something would move. Honestly, that's like the Clown Hotel.
Oh God, yeah.
I forget where it's at, but it's across from a cemetery. I think it's in Vegas. I forget.
Yeah, that sounds bad. That sounds about right.
But like that, like no, I can't. I can't be anywhere with like life size mannequins of like a horror person.
Yeah.
I would be afraid it would move.
Yeah.
I
that's very understandable. I totally get it.
And even if it didn't, my mind would be like, it did. It moved. It fully moved.
When my wife lets you listen to some of this audio,
I do want to hear it before I go. I would love to hear it.
She will definitely let you. She's got one that's from her dad's house. Her dad's house has like some stuff going on. But he lives in not Avondale, West Grove, PA. And I don't think anyone's ever passed away there or anything like that, but I think the land's really old.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's got like an audio thing of that, and we had an experience there. So her, my friend Jean, and I, after she got like this audio, like months later, we went back, and the activity's mostly like in the upstairs.
Okay.
It's always the attic.
Always the attic.
Right. So like always more like the upstairs area.
Attic or the basement.
Attic-y. Yeah. Right. And so we had the lights off. We were asking questions. We didn't get anything, and then we went downstairs, and again, here comes the cat, and the cat's looking at the top of the stairs, and you just hear stuff. You hear like something walking around, and it's way too heavy to be like an animal.
Right.
It sounds like footsteps walking around, and then the cat like beelined up there, and like we were all three of us were just like kind of looking at each other like, yeah, you want to go back and do more investigating? No. And we didn't go up there.
You were like, nah, it's
I'm like,
okay.
nah.
We're good.
No, I'm fine. If you guys want to go, I'm okay.
Go ahead, but
I'm gonna
I'm
stay down
good. Oh gosh.
Yeah, there's definitely stuff going on up there, and it's creepy. And but yeah, I wouldn't. There's my buddy Gene, same friend. He's got a couple cool stories of like New Orleans. New Orleans
New
is so
Orleans,
haunted.
yeah.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, a friend of mine. So they were staying somewhere that was like really old. And again, I apologize. I'm telling these other people's stories, but it relates to what we're talking about. You know, you got like money because they're getting ready to go out. So if you got like 1s, 5s, 20s, like she's organizing her money that way. And she turned around, and when she turned around, it was like someone went like that on the bed, like the money was like moved, and she was like, "Okay, I'm not staying there."
Nope. In a flat second, if that happened, I'd be like, "Cool, I'm gone."
I'm not staying there. And she came out. She was like, you know, and Gene was like, "All right, I'll switch rooms with you because I want to stay there if you got something going on." And he said, yeah, he was he started having dreams of like a woman at like the foot of his bed. And there was one night he woke up and he felt like it was like sleep paralysis.
Pressure.
Like, yeah, he was feeling pressure and he couldn't get up. Like something was holding him there. And he was like, yeah, that started happening when we switched rooms. I was like, dude.
Again, like I'm like, if I'm with someone, I might, but then I'm still like, if they're asleep next to me and I see someone standing in the corner, what am I gonna do? Like wake them up?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, was that, you know, we were talking earlier about like the haunting of Hill House. Did that episode really get you when they were talking about that?
Oh yeah.
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 That sounds exactly like that's what I immediately thought of when you just brought that up.
Well, actually, the scariest like someone standing in the room was Gerald's game.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like the Moon Man standing in the corner.
Did you ever read? Sorry.
No. I've never read any Stephen King's book. I've
Yeah?
seen so many movies, but never like read the books. But that movie scarred me of her waking up and him standing in the room. And then finding out that he's a real person.
Yeah.
Like not fake was like she was like, it's death, and I'm like, no, he's a murderer.
Yeah, he's a necrophiliac weirdo guy. And no, that book or that movie is, again, it's a Mike Flanagan movie. It's very true to the novel.
To the novel?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
might be worth a read.
If you want to be scared.
Yeah, well, I
don't know. Because the novel it's scary. Like that guy.
I'll stick to my ACOTAR right now.
That guy, the Moon Man, is way scarier in the book.
Okay.
I mean, you know, because again, it's like a book, so it's like your own imagination's like your worst enemy.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
But yeah, it's when I'm not gonna.
I know that's again, it's a very realistic book, so or story. So again, anything that's like close. So again, I love to visit these like haunted places and like feel things. But like I always say I want to stay overnight, but then am I inviting it? I don't know if I want it to happen, and then I get worried about bringing it home. Yeah. I have like a witch's ball right in at the front of my house, which is said that it like grabs any negative energies and holds it in the ball before it can like come into the home. So I like my house, again, knock on wood, my new house, actually both houses that I've lived in since my childhood, I never like ever had any scary dreams, never felt anything. So even watching a scary movie, like don't get me wrong, I have like late night TikToks where like it shows me mimics and weird things, and I'm like, why are you showing this to me at midnight? Like I can't go to sleep now. I cannot go to sleep. And it was funny, the very first night we slept in our new house, I did have a terrifying dream that someone broke in. I was in our bedroom with an axe and was like, do you want to wear your clothes or not? And I was like, before what? Before you murder me? And then I woke up, and then I got nervous that we didn't lock the door.
I have I don't know if it's because of like scary movies or like probably a mixture of that, but like becoming a dad now.
Oh, absolutely.
Home invasion dreams, I have them a lot now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awful.
They're just fear, you know?
Or I wake up in the middle of the night, and it's like, and it's not because he woke me up, but it's like I wake up and my mind is racing. Like I'm always like, okay, what would I do? What would I do in this scenario? And it's like 2 hours later when I've figured out my escape plan.
Right.
If this person was here, like, well, like I'm like, dude, you're a crazy person. But
Just anxiety dreams.
anxiety dreams, like I don't get them much anymore. But I used to wake up and not know where I was. That was always really scary.
Yeah, that's very scary.
Yeah,
I
that's
wouldn't
the
like
worst.
that. No.
Yeah,
At least I don't sleepwalk. Like that would.
I've never sleptwalked before, but that would have to be
Yeah, terrifying.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
wouldn't
know
like that.
someone who has the.
It's like the uninvited.
Yeah.
Like where you don't remember and you're like, why do I have blood on my hands? And you're like, what did you do? That actually was, I think that was a good twist, if I remember correctly. I like a good twist of a horror movie.
Yeah. What do you think the best, this is probably way too broad.
Oh.
What was your favorite twist of any movie? Spoilers. Might possibly coming.
It's, Sixth Sense.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a great spoiler.
If you haven't seen The Sixth Sense, it's on you. It's only been 20.
It's a
4 years.
fantastic spoiler. I did not see it coming.
I did not see it coming.
That was a good spoiler. I want to see the new movie. It's a hand.
Talk to Me?
Talk to Me.
Oh, you've never
I've
seen
heard
it?
it's really good. I haven't watched it
Woo!
yet. I do want to watch it. I've heard it's fantastic.
Okay.
I've heard it's really good, and it's on my list of things.
Here's
to
what
watch.
we're going to do right
Okay.
here and now in the year of our Lord 2024. Would definitely love to have you back.
Yeah.
And Talk to Me should be your movie.
Okay.
So when you watch Talk to Me,
I'll let you know.
you let it marinate in your mind a little
Okay.
bit. We'll come back and
Okay.
we'll revisit that because I won't give too much away, but obviously there's mixed opinions on Talk to Me, but I loved it. I
Okay.
thought it was very scary, and I thought it was very like I'm gonna sound like a grumpy curmudgeon old man, but I think it really pokes fun kind of at the TikTok challenge
Okay.
generation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the stuff they're doing. It's like, yeah, I could see a group of kids being like,
Doing
this would be cool social media
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
like
yeah.
this whole thing they're doing. But I won't tell you, I won't give
Okay.
it away. But nah, it was cool. It's very cool.
Worst movie I've ever seen, Malignant.
Yes. Oh my God, thank you.
Terrible. Terrible. I was really excited to see it.
So was I. I was like, oh my God, James Wan, you're back to horror. This is gonna be awesome. And I was like, this is shit.
It was really bad. It was really terrible. And honestly too, what was the movie? Barbarian?
Yes.
I
You
mean,
like it?
I liked it, but
Got ridiculous at the end.
it got ridiculous at the end. Yeah. It got so ridiculous at the end. Again, we wouldn't have movies without the stupidity of people, but
True.
if I found something in my Airbnb, I would not explore that. I
No.
would be like, I think I'm going to go.
No, I would write a horrible review.
Yep.
I would get my money back.
I do watch a lot of horror movies just to, as we finish this off. I do watch a lot of horror movies to prep myself for like situations. Like
Okay.
I think I can spot red flags better because I've seen so many horror movies to know if like someone's acting weird, or I also trust my gut. Like you said, like you might not be super sensitive, but we have these gut feelings when something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm good at being like, no. And then like exactly when I heard the noise down in the basement,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to say hello.
Yeah.
I shut the door and left the house. Like,
And that's the thing too. It's like, okay, no, I'm gonna do what. Again, it's like in the first Scream movie where she's on the phone and she's
Literally.
like, yeah, it's stupid. This person's literally running upstairs or here, and they should just be running right back out the front door and be
Right.
gone. It's like instinctual gut feeling. Yeah, in horror movies, psychologists say a lot of us horror fans watch these movies strictly because of that. It's like a way to cope with like our real fears.
yeah.
But like you said, survival instincts.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like, I'm not going camping somewhere I've never been.
I am going camping in a few months, and I'm like, well, at least I'm with my family. So, but I also don't love camping for those reasons. So.
Yeah, and it's like I'm going to, do a lot of if I'm going to stay somewhere I've never stayed, I'm going to do a lot of research, especially if it's like an Airbnb. It's like,
Yep.
yeah, there was one. There was one Airbnb we stayed at because we were doing like we were going up to the Mahoning Drive-In for the weekend, and they were doing like this big John Carpenter like marathon. It was like really cool. So we were staying in like this Airbnb. It's like in the middle of nowhere, like right off the bat. I'm like, okay, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
This is like your neighbor's like quarter mile away, and the guy was giving us a tour, and he said something, and then it contradicted what he said. But I forget what it was. But I was like, well, hold on. You said da.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, sorry about that. And he left, and I was like, I don't trust this place.
I don't like that. No.
I don't trust this place, guys. They're all laughing, but they were like, see, man, Bruce, if there's a horror movie, he's going to be the guy who keeps us alive. He was paying attention.
Yes.
He was paying attention
that's
to
like,
that.
what was this one recent one that just came out? And it was actually really good. She goes back in time to save her mom's friends from a terrible slaughter.
Is this Final Girl? Was it like a comedy?
Yes, it was comedy horror.
Yeah.
But it was with the mom from Modern Family. Olivia Holt, I think was... No. Kiernan, who plays Sabrina.
Yes.
She was in this movie, and she goes back in time.
Totally slasher. Was that
Yes,
one? Yeah,
yes,
I want to
yes.
watch that.
That one's good. Also, the one with Vince Vaughn, where Freaky was also going. I like a good comedy horror.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Those are
when
funny.
they're done right. When they're done right.
When they're
really
done
good.
right. Yes. But then also anything like was it 1976? It was a TV series about a very real serial killer in California who used to come into people's bedrooms.
But was it about the Golden State Killer?
I think so.
Yeah, that was a really awful case.
Yes.
I watched
the TV series was like he came to the camp, and I forget, was it an American Horror Story? It
yeah,
I think
okay.
it was. Yes.
Because they were talking. So the American Horror Story, the one series they were like talking about the Night Stalker.
That's what it was. The Night Stalker.
Yeah.
Yes, the Night Stalker. And I went to California and I wanted to go to Cecil Hotel, but it's closed.
Oh wow.
You can't. I wanted to drive by it, but I was like, I don't know. Maybe not. A lot of weird things happen there. So.
Well, like I said, anything. Were you a fan of? Okay, hold on. Before I forget, have you ever seen? You ever seen a movie called The Summer of '84? No. You should watch it. Okay. I think you would like it. It's based in '84, but these friends in the neighborhood. It's one of those things like there's a real serial killer. Yeah. And they think they know who it is, and that's where I'll leave you. Okay. With it. But it's really good. I think it's a Shudder movie. Okay. It's like What's the new one that's about to come out with the guy who is a serial killer? He was in Pearl Harbor. Oh my God, I cannot remember his name. Oh yeah, and my friend were talking about this, and they think they got him trapped in this concert. Yes. Oh man, what's it called? I forget. It's a M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's coming out. It looks really good. It does. I'm excited to see that one. I want to see that, and there's a movie coming out next month in July that I really want to see. And it's called Long Legs. Have you seen any trailers for that? No. It looks. Watch some of the trailers. Like Slender Man, like type? No, or different. Okay. It's more. So the director is Osgood Perkins. And he did a movie called The Black Coat's Daughter, which is like real. I've heard of that one, but I haven't seen it. Okay. I gotta watch it again, but it's like it's a pretty dark movie with a twist. But I mean, I kind of saw the twist coming, but definitely check it out. Okay. But he's actually Anthony Perkins' son, and Anthony Perkins is Norman Bates in Psycho. It's his son. And he's got this movie coming out called Long Legs. And everybody I talked to about it at first, like, oh, is that the Spider movie? Because there's like this Spider movie that came out. But it's like, no, it's more like serial killer vibes, occult shit. And it looks awesome. Good. It looks really dark. Trailer. It's got the girl from It's got the young lady from It Follows.
Oh, great movie.
Awesome movie.
Also terrifying.
Yes. Comes up. It Follows comes up.
That is actually a great movie.
It comes up a lot on the show. Actually, one of these days I'm going to do like a full episode kind of dedicated to it.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. Really
Also
cool.
underrated, The Babadook.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Although to this day, it always makes me laugh when he just walks into the room.
Well,
but you're also like, that's terrifying.
Well, I want to ask him. I want to ask whoever made that movie, because if you look over here, I wonder if that's who it's based off of.
That guy in
the
top
hat.
Who is that from?
So there's a movie that came out in the silent era called London After Midnight.
Okay.
But there's only stills of the movie. Like the movie, all reels and media of the movie have been destroyed.
Okay.
There's no real copy of it. So like I said, they only got like stills of it. They later remade it with Bela Lugosi, but that's actually Lon Chaney. But if you look at him,
he looks like the Babadook.
I wonder if that's where the guy based it off.
He fully looks like the Babadook. To this day, like them walking into the police station and seeing the top hat, and I was just like, no.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Like I'm gonna say it's. I can't say for sure, but it's gotta be.
It's gotta be. It's giving me very much Babadook vibes.
Which is super cool. You know what I mean? That's like, because that's a great. I wish there was a real copy of that movie. One day Eddie's gonna come on the show and talk about that movie. He told me. So we don't know when that's gonna be. We don't know when he's gonna come back, but I hope it's soon.
One day.
And I can't wait. I can't wait till you come back.
I can't wait.
This
Thank
is really
you.
fun.
Oh my god.
This is really fun. I want to thank Amanda Bradford coming on the show. And actually, this replica is from the Bradford Exchange. I thought that was pretty cool.
That house got sold for $1.5 million when it was recently bought.
Wow.
Just recently.
I wonder if the supernatural activity appraised it higher or lower.
Or lower.
Or lower.
Or lower.
Or lower, yeah. I don't know. If it was $80,000 like it was before, I think I could afford it.
Yeah. But now, I mean, it's a big house. It's giant.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I don't know. $1.5 million. They would definitely have to put the windows back in for me.
So apparently the old owners took them out and they're still in the attic so that, anybody could put them back.
All right. Well,
so they didn't get rid of them. They're just not there right now.
Before I sign the
Put
final
back.
walkthrough, you got to put that windows back. Again, that's it for the Marvel of Horror. Please like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, listen to us on Spotify. Leave your comments. We want to hear from you, and we will see you next time.
Bye.